So, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolutions Voyager class Bludgeon. And Bludgeon here is a repaint of Tarn. And Tarn is probably, this was my best figure of the year. I had him ranked 1, and I love this mold. As far as it goes with this figure, there's not really too much new about him, except for the color scheme. He has a sword and his head sculpt. That is it. That is the big thing that's different about him. Another thing I'm going to mention is different. I got a new phone, which is what I use to record the videos, so it might be a bit different quality-wise. It looks a little different, but it still looks pretty much the same, even with the lighting. And as far as it goes, I mean, I have not really any issues with this guy. I really like this mold, like I mentioned. I think this mold is pretty well perfect. The one issue a lot of people tend to have with this guy is the shoulder joint that goes like that, instead of it having like a hinge in the, like, tread here, like right here. Instead of there being a hinge there, it hinges there, which people don't like, and that's a big issue. Apparently, it's not that big of an issue. People just like to be contrarians, I think. Yeah, the other joint's better, but who cares? It's a small thing on what is still a really good figure. And as far as it goes, the main changes, of course, are the colors. He has primarily picked out orange, maroon, and green, which is quite nice. His back is quite clean. He has this cannon back here, which is removable. This is mostly a tarn accessory, of course, but you can put that there. I don't think he looks complete without that. Honestly, I like having that back there, even though I have it in the same place on tarn, for the most part. And, I mean, the main thing that he came with accessory-wise was the sword, which is right here. It is kind of flimsy, though, unfortunately. It is quite good. It has quite the long handle, so he can double-hand it, which I'm sure you'll see in some of the pictures I take of it. But as far as it goes, it does have a peg on the side, so you can put that there like that. And that just simply slides in, but he does have, like Tarn, open and closing hands. So if you do own the Tarn figure, you know what you're getting out of this guy. You're just getting Tarn, but with an interesting color scheme. In my opinion, it's a bit more of an intriguing one, because Tarn is just purple and gray. I mean, that's a nice color scheme, don't get me wrong. It is a color scheme that really works, but this is a little bit more wild with the colors. It's just a weird color combo. The only thing I can think of that's similar to this is, like, Banzai-tron. Is it Banzai-tron or Banzai-tron? And then Roadbuster. Those are the ones that are kind of close to this. But as far as it goes with these cannons, nothing really particularly different. It's the same three-piece setup. You get this kind of squared one, which these are all picked out in translucent, and then painted very nicely. This one's a bit more round. And then we have, of course, the kind of block thing. You can use it on his arms. The one arm, being the left arm, has 2 peg points, whereas the right does not. You just simply, oh, there he goes. You just flip that around like so, and peg that into the highest port. And ta-da! Yeah. And if you want to see his Evo Fusion, it's the same thing, I think, as Tarn, which is this. Evo Fusion was such a dumb thing. It was an excuse for them to change the name, really. Evo Fusions were really nothing in the long run. But one thing we got to take a look at here, which is the big difference, is his head, which is quite good. Look at that head sculpt. It's picked out in maroon, has a nice silver face, and kind of has this more orange kind of paint in there. It's kind of like a reddish-orange color. It's very different from the rest of the figure. I don't think it appears anywhere else except for the face. It looks quite good. It's a lot more vibrant in person. Let's see if I can get this down here, see if I can get it to... Yeah, it's not really doing it. It's going to just stay the kind of color it is, but it does look quite nice. All things considered for the head sculpt. But one thing I keep seeing is like a glare off of like the crest up here, and I think that would have looked good in silver. When I keep seeing it like that, I think that would have looked really nice with silver on it. But as far as it goes, that's basically it for the basic details of the robot mode and the accessories. So let's look at the articulation, which is about the same as Tarn. Ball joint in the head, very good range, forward and back, outward, controversial. Elbow joint goes a little above 90, but not by much. We then have the swivel, of course. We have a rotation at the hand, and his fingers open and close. We then have a waist joint. He then has forward and back at the legs. This kind of feels a little loose, if I'm being honest. Outward knee joint goes well beyond 90, and it does have another hinge in there, so if you want that double knee, you can have it. He then has forward and back at the ankle along with a tilt, but the tilt doesn't go too far in. It's very restricted, unfortunately. But as far as it goes, yeah, he has some of the best articulation you could ask for. The only thing he's really missing is like an ab crunch and like a double elbow. And that's really it for the robot mode, so let's just get into the transformation. So to transform Bludgeon, it is actually quite the simple thing to do. Peg the legs together and fold the feet up. I'm not joking. This is all you're going to do with the legs pretty much throughout the whole transformation. One more step, but that's really it. Next, remove this and flip this section around so that these are facing outward like that. So you'll see this little bit of silver poking out from the front between the barrels. The next thing you're going to want to do is come to the back. And then you're going to take these little guns and fold them down. When you do that, that will give you access to the hole in the back, so you can just fold in his head, like so. Pull on these, and then you're going to want to try to fold them. One side of mine doesn't like to go, though. So you want to try to fold the chest piece and the treads at the same time without popping this off, because it likes to pop off, like I said. It's entirely orange translucent plastic, so that's a little spooky. And then as soon as you do that, you can take this section here and you can rotate it around and pull it backwards like so. Next up, for the arms, you're going to want to take them and put them like this. Take the gauntlet section on the outside with the peg holes, fold them out, and then do that. So fold them over like so. Take the arms. This is where you're going to want to come to the knees here, which is the last leg step, really. You're just going to come in and bend them like so. So just unpeg them. Very nice and easy. Nothing too crazy for that one. For some reason, the peg is... I think the peg just broke. The peg did just break. On camera. That ain't good. Yeah, the peg just went a little crooked. That's like the second time I've had that happen to a more recent figure. The other one that happened to was the Amazon exclusive Springer. The Siege Springer repaint. Anyway, you're going to peg the arms into the sides of the legs like so. Come to the tread here and fold that out like so. And then you're going to take the tread itself and you're just gonna make sure the arm stays pegged in. Do that. Take the extra part of the tread, the faux part, put that on the bottom like so. Make sure everything stays pegged together. You can then take the legs and make sure that they are folded up correctly and they will peg in to the tabs that are on these green sections like so. And then just take that, put that there, and there is your alternate form. And as far as it goes, it's pretty good. I mean, it's Tarn's alt form, which is fine, but the problem I have with this one is Tarn's actually has like windows picked out up here. Didn't do it on this one, and it looks a little weird. It kind of looks like a slab. It's clearly a tank, but it's just weird because it's just Tarn, but different colors. As I mentioned, kind of sucks that the plastic broke on that tab. Oh well. It's not like the most valuable tab in the world. It's kind of valuable, but not really. It has multiple other ways to stay together. You can take the sword and plug that on in various parts. So you could put that in the forearm slots, or you can put it off of the legs up there, or even off the top of the thing. You could do it that way. Now, as far as it goes, I mean, it's an alright alt form. I think it's nice. I do like that they picked out the treads with silver. I think that looks really nice, but for the most part, it's just kind of a meh version of Tarn's alt form. The robot mode, in my opinion, looks a little better than Tarn, but the alt form is not nearly as good looking. But as far as it goes, that's really it for him. So let's just get to my final thoughts. And so, as far as Tarn goes, I think that this is still a pretty great figure. Is it the better version of Tarn? I mean, it's a version of the mold, so if you do want it, there's 3 versions. I know there's one coming out in like a 4-pack that comes with like Prime Cliff Jumper and a bunch of other things. But I would say it's either this or Tarn. I'm pretty sure Tarn's quite expensive. I'm not sure about him. I've seen him at my local Walmarts a couple of times. My local Walmarts suck at stocking new figures. Until lately, where the ones that are, like, a little bit farther than my closest one, there's one that's, like, probably, like, 7 minutes away that has had Legacy Wave 3 on the shelf for, like, probably a year and a half now. And they have not realized they're not selling. I'm not even joking. I went in there and I moved the figures down off the peg to see if they have the other ones, to see if I could trick them. I probably won't trick them, but I basically did that because it's like the other 2 that are like 20 minutes away and 25 minutes, they got Evolution Deluxes and stuff like that. But the closest one, just to get to the point because I'm rambling, basically just randomly stocks Voyagers. They had Legacy Evolution Voyagers for some reason. But as far as it goes with Tarn, very good figure. Like I said, if you can get your hands on him, it is just a really nice one. I do like the sword. It's just a shame that it's flimsy. So as far as it goes, I give Tarn a 5. I'm going to slightly degrade him down to a 4.5 out of 5. Why? Mostly just because of the small issues. I feel like this is very breakable, and also he did break on camera. Weirdly enough, the peg on the leg broke. I don't know how. This isn't even like a tight-fitting peg, by the way. Like, it just kind of went. It kind of went. It's a friction one. It goes in through the bottom, you know? I don't know how that happened. But as far as it goes, he's still a great figure. And if you can find one, I would wholly recommend him. Especially if you're looking for the Tarn mold, this is the one I'm going to recommend just because it's easier to get. It's just a good mold. But that's really all I have to say for this review. So this has been a review of Legacy Evolution Bludgeon. It's been Elite signing out.